Hey, we're back again for your favorite part of the day, and that is to flow with tarot. Okay, you're here because you love tarot, or perhaps you want to learn more about it. I'm always learning. I feel, especially as a spiritualist, as a spiritual teacher, as a spiritual guide, as a spiritual mentor, I will always be a student because I will always be learning. So, yes, when we go through these cards, look at it as a teaching moment, but also look at it as a way for you to expand your practice as well. Okay? And so, with that being said, leave me in the comments or leave me a comment and let me know how this has been helpful to you. Is that a spider in my car? Sorry, hold on. Okay, the spider is on the outside. All right. Crisis averted. Anyway, but we're always learning, right? And one other thing that I want to say, which this point that I'm getting ready to bring up has nothing to do with the point that I just made. But I want to say this. As you, as a sovereign being, as a magical being, as an alchemist, as the creator of your life, as the creator of your world, people will just you being out in the world, you'll have people that will tell you what you should be focused on, what you should be, quote, worried about. They will try to tell you what to do with your energy. Nobody can tell you what to do with your energy. Nobody can tell you, oh, you need to be paying attention to this, or this thing needs your focus, or you need to be, doing something to fix this or to fix that. No, you get to decide that. No one can tell you what you need to be putting your energy toward. You decide that. Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there. So, let's get into today's card pull. So, I have lost count. We probably have what? How many videos have I had? Have we done 23 cards yet? I know we've done at least 20. We've looked at least 20. But we have a little ways to go. I am not rushing through this. This has been fun for me. Hopefully this has been fun for you. So, like always, this is not a reading per se, okay? This is our way of connecting with the card. We're just looking at it. We're talking about it. Whatever comes up is what is going to come up in the moment, okay? And that's why I don't batch record these videos. I could do that. Perhaps that would be easier for me as far as time goes. But anyway, I want these cards or these, the assessment of these cards to be in the moment. All right. So let's look at, this is the Six of Wands. Let's look at this. So the Six of Wands, I feel like has it been the last two cards or the last three cards? They've been Wands. And we know Wands is symbolic of fire. Okay. And so what I feel like with this card, there is a sense of celebration that I feel with this card. There's also a sense of balance that I feel with this card. So with the element of fire, we can think of taking action, okay? Taking action, practical steps to get to a desired result. We can think of our action steps as our whatever spiritual working that we do. That's an action step. So whatever action that you are taking on this physical plane to bring the invisible into the visible is an action step. And what can happen is that you can take so much action where you become numb to the point where you're not stopping to celebrate the action that you've taken. You become so engrossed in what you're doing, which, this is not a right or wrong here. You become so engrossed in what you're doing that the action steps become like just a laundry list of things for you to do. Your action becomes that list. You just start adding things to it, not giving regard to whether or not what the action steps that you're adding to that list, whether or not those additional action steps are really aligned. Because there's a difference between, and I think I talked about this with the last card, but there's a difference between taking action just because you want to be in the mode of doing. There's a difference between that and taking aligned action, okay? Taking inspired action, taking action that is supporting your vision, supporting your new vision, supporting your upgrade, supporting your elevation, supporting your expansion. There is a difference. And I do not believe that we were meant to stay in action mode, to stay in doing mode. There is such a thing as being. And I feel like that in this moment, that's what this card is reminding us to do, to stay in the mode of being. And part of you staying in the mode of being is to celebrate the action that you have already taken. There is a sense that, and that's what I meant by the balance here. There's a sense of balance. Yes, there is a time when you take action, but there's a time when you pause and you assess your action. Part of that assessment is to, number one, celebrate the action that you've taken, and number two, to assess whether you're going to stay on that course of action, to assess whether or not, if you come to a fork in the road with your action, you can assess whether or not you want to keep going this way or that way, or keep on the route that you've been going. Also, understanding in that fork that's in the road, so to speak, understanding that and knowing, not beyond belief, beyond a trust, knowing that you are consistently and constantly guided because you're open. You're open to, as long as you remain open to your elevation, even if an action step, let's just say you take an action step, this is just an example, and you start to think, well, this doesn't really feel like the course of action that I want to keep going on. It's not that you took a wrong turn, because you know that you're consistently guided, so you know you're going to always be rerouted. Okay, if you start to feel like, oh, well, I'm starting to think that maybe this wasn't the best action step. Okay, fine. You trust and know that you're going to be rerouted. Okay, so that knocks out the fear of, well, how do I know I'm going to take the right action step? Or what happens if I take the wrong action? No, all that goes out the window, because in your knowing that you're always guided, there's a knowing that comes when you come to the realization that you will be rerouted if a reroute is necessary. Okay? And I can say that right now, because in this moment that I'm talking to you, I am in the process of a reroute. I am in the process of a rebuild. And even in the rebuild, I am still having to be intentional about being in my expression and allowing myself to celebrate what has been done, to celebrate the action steps that I've taken. Whether it is in an actual spiritual working, okay? Whether it is in a spell, whether it is in a ritual, or whether it's sending out emails, making phone calls, okay? creating, writing, painting, whatever that looks like, having a conversation or conversations, all right, speaking, mentoring, me being mentored, okay, me going to therapy. Those are action steps, okay? So, yeah, we have to find harmony. This is really good. We have to not find harmony, but allow ourselves to exist in harmony, okay? To surrender to harmony. And here's one last thing. When I say surrender, I'm not talking about that religious program bullshit of surrendering. What I'm talking about here is allowing. Allow yourself to celebrate. Allow the action steps that you've taken to work. Okay? That's what we're doing here. And there is harmony with the expression of your doing and the expression of your being. All right? So let me know what your takeaways are from today's episode of Flow with Tarot. And we're just going to keep going. And until next time, stay in your magic.